A'ja Wilson is not playing in Unrivaled, much like Caitlin Clark's not. But there's been a story surfaced by way of Sports Business Journal that,
and they're giving good explanations to why, at least for the most part, because they believe that A'ja Wilson should have been paid more money.
A.A. Wilson recently made a shocking revelation in the wake of Caitlin Clark's rejection. According to reports, the current MVP thought she ought to be paid more than Clark.
Why?
Caitlin Clark owns that. Caitlin Clark is the face of that. And without Caitlin Clark, a lot of people wouldn't even know who the hell A'ja.
In contrast to Clark's quiet mic drop, Wilson's announcement featured pyrotechnics, confetti, and allegedly a bigger compensation offer.
She definitely don't deserve more money than Caitlin Clark. I just gotta keep it real. Now, people could be mad all they want, but over here, I'm gonna keep it real. Caitlin Clark is the tide that rides all boats. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And Caitlin moves.
At this point, things begin to heat up. Wilson's camp subtly suggested that she should have received more than Clark because MVPs are expensive. It was an obvious message. One fan wrote, "I'm worth more." Caitlin Clark chooses to engage in pyrotechnics with Wilson and Gray Saw. Please give her an Oscar.
Unrivaled is down bad for Caitlin Clark. And obviously everyone is a bit on bated breath if Caitlin Clark will be one of those people. But no one on bated breath more, it sounds like, than Nafisa Collier, Brianna Stewart, and every investor and person involved.
Let's be practical for a moment. Wilson is talented, but talent isn't the only factor. Perception and legacy are also important. Wilson might have the skills, but Clark is capable of upholding the fundamentals of athletics. Furthermore, the numbers are accurate. As if she were handing out free tickets to Beyoncé, Clark draws sizable crowds. Wilson, meanwhile, has a devoted but hardly innovative fan base.
A'ja Wilson is not playing in Unrivaled, much like Caitlin Clark's not. But there's been a story surfaced by way of Sports Business Journal that is baffling, and it is getting absolutely crushed right now because nobody believes.
Wilson's team claims that she declined for the same reasons as Clark, remained focused, etc., are not taken seriously by the basketball community. The timing looks to be a standard look-at-me moment intended to bring attention back to Wilson, even if it was obviously directed at Clark. But as it happens, Wilson's playbook does not include this. Not to mention the irony that Clark deftly sidestepped the disturbance. Wilson's decision seems to be intended to be dramatic, and this isn't her first headline. Remember her winning isn't for everyone commercial campaign that rapidly faded after her team's playoff loss, or her Nike shoe launch that caused other players' launches to be delayed. Wilson has the ability to make everything about her, even when it's clearly not the case.
Well, no amount of pulling in Kate Martin, Lexi Hull, or agreeing to State Farm sponsorships got the Unrivaled lead Caitlin Clark. She's not gonna.
Clark's rejection was not due to fanfare. Rather, she let her behavior to speak for her. She stated, "I need a break," highlighting the importance of off-season leisure above the never-ending grind. It was a sophisticated move, but it seems that sophistication isn't contagious because A.O. Wilson stole the show with her own shocking rejection. Let's talk about Wilson soon as the media took notice of Clark's decision. Wilson's staff conveniently revealed that Unrivaled had offered her an even better deal. And you know what?
She said no.
Naturally, there was nothing strange about the time of this discovery, and fans soon saw that one social media user had accurately captured it. Clark says no and keeps going. Wilson declines and insists that his desperation be widely acknowledged.
Like, basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened. Like, I feel like I didn't even have time to really reflect on my college career because it ended so fast. And then I came here and was trying to give everything I could to this team and kind of move on and put all that behind me and help this team, get back to the playoffs. So, I feel like taking some time to myself and really enjoying.
Recently, Caitlin Clark reminded everyone of her unrivaled priorities and the reasons she is the basketball queen. Henry Lee, a desperate new three, nearly set up a red carpet and neon lights in her inner circle because they thought they could attract her with $1 million offer of equity. Please join us while we peruse. However, Clark remains composed and firmly declined their request.
Why?
Because she cherishes her sanity, time, and health. Unrivaled obviously neglected to include 3 items in their pitch. In the meantime, Unrivaled is frantically trying to save what little credibility they still have. They had placed a wager on the Caitlyn effect, thinking that her celebrity status would make their small league famous. It didn't work, spoiler alert. They enlisted Clark's brand partners, friends, and most likely even her dog's favorite toy. However, she continued to say, "Know the outcome." A roster announcement that was as disappointing as a deflated basketball. I feel like for the past year, basketball has truly taken over my life. I think it will be beneficial for me to think back on everything that has transpired. I feel like my college experience ended so quickly that I didn't really have time to truly reflect on it. After that, I came here and tried to give this squad everything I had, move on, put everything behind me, and support this team. You can't return to the postseason. The league's desperation was terribly evident, so I felt like spending some time to myself and truly appreciating it. "Please, Caitlyn, we need you," their marketing shouted. Additionally, Dinbite attempted to change course by exaggerating Wilson's rejection. Here's the worst part, though. A league that begins with both of its major stars rejecting them is unimportant to anyone. Why should anyone want to play if Wilson and Clark don't want to? Fans of Watch are aware of the irony. Wilson, however, seemed to be drawn to the drama. Her rejection wasn't merely a choice.
It was a show.
And despite a few unparalleled headlines, the future already appears dismal. Despite the commotion, Clark made a straightforward and sensible choice. Even when a dazzling contract is presented to her, she doesn't hesitate to decline since she is aware of her value. The uproar surrounding Wilson's leak only exacerbated the terrible loss of Clark. It is now challenging for the league to show that it can operate without its 2 biggest stars. Spoiler alert, it probably won't.
I didn't think somebody from Asia Wilson team cold-heartedly thought that she should have got more money than Caitlyn Clark. I thought people was lying. But, as we can see here, it was very much the truth. The article goes on to say Asia Wilson, Caitlyn Clark turned down participating in Unrivaled.
Hence 2 wildcard positions openly available for Clark and Wilson to utilize. Their major announcement of a 6-team roster seems disappointing. Their aspirations to revitalize women's basketball appear uncertain now that Wilson and Clark have both rejected the league. In basketball, they talk about placing all of your eggs in one basket and then dropping it. You're not getting paid more than Clark because you're not moving the needle like she does. Facts don't care about MVP's K, said a harsh Reddit member. The community has been vocal about the whole issue, with many criticizing Wilson's camp's comments as needless, and some fans endorsing her choice to put the rest first.
Caitlyn Clark, it appears, and Wilson have turned down the historic offers to participate this season. While ESPN reported this afternoon that Clark had decided to pass on the Unrivaled League starting January 17th, with sources recently telling SBJ that Clark's offer was about $1 million plus liquidity in the...
To prove her worth, Clark doesn't have to create controversy. In the end, she stands out for her calm confidence. Wilson, though, seems to enjoy it. She knows how to keep her fame, even if it means revealing too much, whether it's through shoe releases or lighthearted arguments with NBA players.
Asia Wilson, somebody... Asia Wilson team was claiming that she wanted more money than Caitlyn.
The real losers in this situation are Unrivaled in the absence of their 2 biggest potentials. Why should fans participate in the battle of bombshells if Clark and Wilson aren't interested? Stars are left to sell a dream that no one seems to want to buy. While Clark's rejection was all class, Wilson's had a hint of struggle. One thing is certain, women's basketball teams may decide to focus on resolving the off-season drama instead of depending on missing players, because it might be more fascinating than the actual games.
Asia Wilson and Caitlyn Clark. We got the final tallies tonight. We had it with them earlier tonight. Michael's going to break that down and tell you who's headed to Phoenix on July 20th here in just a second, ladies.
Wilson reminded everyone why she has won 2 WNBA MVP awards and may be vying for a 3rd following yet another outstanding performance. She just delivered yet another masterclass in the art of control. When questioned about her recent accomplishment, Wilson made it clear that she isn't satisfied with mediocrity. Leading her team to 5 consecutive triumphs was just another workday, so she nonchalantly ascribed it to having faith in the process and enduring adversity. Improvements in defense are crucial, of course, but let's be honest, the league and the AA Wilson show are superior. Hold on firmly. Kelsey Plum, on the other hand, made an effort to downplay her season-high 34 points. It's difficult to overlook Wilson's season-opening record-breaking run of 20 points in a game, despite her modest description of her own accomplishments as just getting the job done. Wilson, a teammate who is constantly encouraging, praised Plum, calling her a gym rat who is as tenacious as they come first and last out, just AP's warm-up routine. She asserts that the secret to a greatness hall of fame, prestige, and legacy is constancy.